School. Did you just cringe? Because I know that was my reaction. When I think of higher academic education, my first thoughts are stress, procrastination, all-nighters, coffee. Did I mention coffee? I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about. As university students, we are all just a little too familiar with the feeling of being constantly bombarded by essays, papers, exams, assignments, presentations, and the list goes on and on. Waiting for marks is the ultimate test of patience, and when we finally see that number unlearned, it either leads to blissful relief or painful disappointment. This is the path of academic learning. But wait, isn't school supposed to be fun? You're probably thinking, yeah, right, school, fun? No, that's funny. Well, let me take you back to your toddler days. Do you remember learning as a child? When show and tell was exciting, minute math was highly anticipated, and finishing arts and crafts early to help another friend was honorable. School was fun then. So when did our attitude change from wanting to learn to dreading school? Hopefully, I can shed some light on this. Starting from a change in motivation to being put through years of standardized testing and then facing the rising pressure to perform well in school, here's my understanding of why students have lost their desire to learn. But to understand learning, we must first start with motivation. Why do we learn? As a kid, you might have said, because I want to or because it's fun. You see, we are all born curious. Babies naturally explore their environments, and children constantly ask, why? Yet by the time we reach high school, we have all but lost our natural curiosity. Studies show that as a student progresses in their academic career, the positive motivation to enjoy school decreases. This is because the drive to do well in school changes from something that is intrinsically motivated or internally driven to something that is motivated by external factors, such as family expectations, peer pressures, or financial situations. Now, I'm not saying that extrinsic motivation is a bad thing, but learning that is sustained by external rewards only, it causes students to be burned out, disengaged, and disconnected with why they are in school in the first place. Studies show that learning, it is driven fundamentally by intrinsic factors. So think about the baby learning and exploring example. So students who desire to learn internally will experience more joy when they learn, which is really important because enjoying learning fosters positive attitudes that help us learn in the future beyond school, which is the point of school in the first place. So it's clear, this shift from intrinsic to extrinsic motivation is a huge factor in the loss of academic enjoyment. Being driven by marks just doesn't help our learning, which brings me to my next factor, standardized testing. Research is constantly showing that conventional education only produces smart test takers, not thinkers. Institutionalizing education increases the inequity within schooling systems because there are so many students out there who possess unique talents that just might not fit in with our current curriculum, and thus they are said to be unintelligent. Standardized testing damages this inherent desire to learn because everyone is different. Learning is not a one-size-fits-all. As I've said before, students are naturally curious. If we are just allowed to explore and make our own judgment as to what merits an achievement, learning would be so much more effective. Yet we are constantly made to jump through hoops from high school to university exams to certifications, and throughout it all, we forget how to learn because we lose our natural curiosity. Today, students only graduate knowing if they're good at school or not, because that's what standardized testing does. It disengages students and it leaves youth unknowing of how to bridge their natural talents with real-world opportunities and how to create lifelong careers that they are passionate about. Now, the last factor I'd like to bring to your attention is the rising pressure continually faced by students. A large cause of the shift to extrinsic motivation is this rising pressure to perform well in school. From family to finances, every student is expected to get good grades so they can get a stable job with high pay. The change of goals in school impacts our desire to learn. When we expect students to constantly perform and regurgitate information for a grade, we take away the freedom to make mistakes. We take away the freedom to learn. Assessments aren't a bad thing, but as two wise Finnish educators once said, the joy of learning does not like to hurry. Only when students are allowed the freedom to learn at their own pace, only then can we be lifelong learners who truly enjoy the search for answers and not just a number on a transcript. So you can see how this shift away from intrinsic motivation, fueled by the unnatural pressure to perform well on standardized tests, this is what causes us to lose our joy in learning. This change from learning to performing is unfortunate because curiosity is such a natural gift. But the good news is the damage is not permanent. You have already spent close to 2 decades of your life in school, so I really urge you to think, why are you here? Consider, are you learning things that are relevant to your life, or are you just performing? What is your motivation? Well, I hope that my speech has really made you think about the importance of the desire to learn, and possibly how to get it back. I'll leave you with this quote from The Power of Why by Amanda Lang. Curious kids learn how to learn, and how to enjoy it. And that, more than any specific body of knowledge, is what they will need to have in the future. The world is changing so rapidly that by the time a student graduates from university, everything he or she learned may already be headed towards obsolescence. The main thing that students need to know is not what to think, but how to think, in order to face new challenges and solve new problems. Thank you.